So hello, good morning everybody. Thank you for joining us. We start soon to our next virtual classroom, how to develop automated and Power BI and data analytics platform on Azure. As Aaron also mentioned, we will record this session and you can have the link on our YouTube channel so you can see also later. Okay, then let's start. First of all, I'd like to explain a little bit about AnalyticsCreator. It's very important that you understand how AnalyticsCreator is working. So with AnalyticsCreator, you design a holistic data model of all your data, yeah, and you are able to connect and design from the source of the data to your data warehouse, to your data marts, to your tabular model, your OLAP model, and also to Power BI or your Click model. Yeah, you do everything with AnalyticsCreator. And out of this design, we generate automatically the source code. Yeah, the SQL code, PL/SQL, and the ETL jobs and everything. Yeah, and we push this code in the Azure environment or in SQL server, and also you are able to do your changes in there to maintain the whole project over the years. It's not only for the beginning, yeah, it's also for the full life cycle of a data warehouse. Yeah, when you do always the changes, you have a good outcome of that. Yeah, AnalyticsCreator replace old-fashioned ETL processes and help you to migrate your old data warehouse to new ones, to Azure or to modern ones. And it's up to 10 times faster and less costs, of course. First, I want to highlight 3 customers which use now AnalyticsCreator some years. And one of the customers, we can't say the name at the moment, they reported to us that they saved 80% time of costs for the data warehouse project in IT controlling. So this is a really amazing number, 80%. You can imagine with your project that you will save for sure a lot. You find on our webpage a lot of success stories, success videos where our customers are speaking about that, how they achieved the goals and how much time they used. And yeah, just have a look on our webpage on the resources. There are a lot of different stories. The next one, what I want to highlight is My Muesli. A lot of customers, a lot of you maybe know this company in the food sector. They started as beginners. They had really no idea about data warehousing before. They just used cubes, but no data warehouse. With AnalyticsCreator, they are able to create the data warehouse for the sales, yeah, and they just needed 4 days consulting from us, just the training, that's all. And they looked on our videos, they trained by themselves. And now I just talked some weeks ago with the guys there. They have 4 developers and they do everything, yeah, in the company. They have a full data warehouse about the production, about the finance and everything. Yeah, we have a really nice customer in the real estate domain. They reported to us that they was 20 times faster as estimated. This is really awesome. So we could not imagine. And for this case, we created a sandbox and recorded on YouTube. And so you can see also on the YouTube channel how it's possible to be 20 times faster. Okay, this is a special case. It's just the ingest layer, but it's 20 times faster. That's really awesome. So about our vision, it's also important to understand how we are thinking. It's all about independence to our customers, that you get independent. So AnalyticsCreator is a pure design time tool. Yeah, you do everything on the design level. Yeah, and there is no runtime, there is no vendor lock. So if you generate the whole source code and you push it to Azure or to SQL Server, you don't need AnalyticsCreator anymore after that. Yeah, so consultancies will be very happy on this. So they can do consulting with a lot of customers, use AnalyticsCreator, and the customer on the customer side, they don't need AnalyticsCreator. So it's really nice. So you are absolutely independent. And we have a holistic data model of all your data processes and the business processes. It's all in there. Yeah, you can model top down and bottom up, whatever you want. And out of this, we generate always a technical layer. It means the data warehouse and the SQL server on the Azure. When Microsoft changes something, you have a new version of something or a new database, we automatically generate the new code. So you don't have to migrate from an older version from a technical perspective. You don't have to change any code or anything. Yeah, it's all done by AnalyticsCreator. We focus 100% on the Microsoft stack and sure of Azure. So you get the best results out of that. We have 100% of our energy in there. In the last years, we achieved a very good stage on that. So we are thinking now at the moment to extend our development team and to open a little bit that we generate other databases. So it can be possible that we do this for SAP HANA, so that the customers who have a SAP, they can decide in future if they want to use the Microsoft Azure stack or to use the HANA stack, and you can switch. It doesn't matter. So if you decide first on HANA, you can switch later on SQL Server or Azure. It don't depend anything on the model. The model is always the same. We have open repository. That means that all the data from the design perspective is stored in an SQL database, and you have the possibility to develop your own add-ons. Yeah, so if you're missing something, you want to generate a database, for example, MariaDB. We have a partner who have done this. You can do this. Yeah, you can also add your custom developments. It's everything in there. So let's explain a little bit the 5-step approach. You will see it after that live. Dimitri will show you. First of all, you have to connect to your data sources. Yeah, we have the possibility with a third-party vendor that you can connect over 250 source data. And after that, we pick up the metadata of your source, and you have the possibility that you define the metadata layer. Yeah, normally this will be done automatically by AnalyticsCreator, but you have maybe to change something, or if you have a CSV file, maybe you have no metadata, so you have to describe it in the layer 2. In the third phase, there is an intelligent wizard which help you to do the design. So it's AnalyticsCreator pull out the information of your metadata description and give you a draft data warehouse model on the phase 4. With this draft model, there the development starts. Yeah, so you do your development, your calculations, your cleansing, you define your KPIs and add your dimension, join with other cubes and other tables. This is what you do in the step 4. And after that, in step 5, you generate the source code and the structure and everything, and you push it automatically to the Azure environment or to your SQL server. Now, this is our 5-step approach. So this is just the architecture picture, explain it a little bit on another level. What is important to understand that you see here the holistic data model, and you can steer everything in the Microsoft environment, which you found here. And also you're able to add here not only the Power BI, we are able to generate also Click models and also Tableau models. But anyway, even you can use your own front-end technology. We don't have to generate always the model. You can connect always to the database. This is always possible. So about some use cases, I think it's clear you can develop your new data platform. If everything is new, it's easy. But it's also possible to modernize existing data warehouse. So there is a very interesting use case on our YouTube channel with Kulmbacher Bierbrauerei. They had an existing SQL Server database in place, and we helped them to migrate, modernize the data warehouse with AnalyticsCreator in a completely new way. And also this process was done, I would say, half automatically. You need a little bit more code in that, which helps you to migrate automatically the old calculation. You need it also in a new one. And this process was really done very fast. So you can use also Data Vault 2.0 modeling with AnalyticsCreator if you like. You can create a data lakehouse, this possible, or a Synapse data warehouse. You can you get supported by shifting your data platform to the Azure cloud. AnalyticsCreator help you with this very easily. This is what we see today, how you generate a data analytics platform on Power BI and on Azure, of course. And our customer use very often this approach to get the data out of SAP and create automated data warehouse, data platform on Azure with Power BI. You are able to export everything to a blob store, to another analytical applications. And we have here the Tableau push. These are just around 15 examples. We can use AnalyticsCreator for many other things. Okay, about the benefits, I think it's clear. It saves time and money. It reduces enormously the risks. And what is, I think, one of the importance, that you work very agile, that you have the possibility to jump in somewhere, do your changes, and generate everything new, and you don't have to think on which layer you have to change something. It's all done automated by AnalyticsCreator. Benefits, you can adapt individually everything. It's not everything done automatically. It's not a black box. You can code if you want on the code level too. This is important to understand. And what is also nice, you have an easy handover. Everything is documented automatically. If you get a new employee, the handover is much more easier. Then you have to explain something on the code level with documentations. You have the holistic data model, and this helps you to give it to make an easy handover. Okay, let me just show you this slide. It's about the survey which was done by analysts. This was a survey from BARC. We have taken part now 4 times. It's 19, 20, 22, and 23. And we was always on the right upper corner at the leading position. This is something really nice. In a lot of performance indicators, we reached always the place one, and this is really amazing. You can download this survey from our webpage. You can read about how it's done and how the customer are talking about us. And one is a new one which came out in hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks. Gartner has also done a review about our technology, and they highlight us in some reports in the next weeks. We will spread it out in a marketing email in the next weeks, I think. Okay, that's it from my side. Now I give the micro to Dimitri. He will do the presentation now.
Okay, then I will continue. Wait a moment, I will share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. Peter, can you confirm?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's start AnalyticsCreator and let's create the small data warehouse project from scratch. First, we will create the new AnalyticsCreator repository. Let's call it, okay, demo DWH. Okay, will be repeated. Well, now we create the new data warehouse repository. Data warehouse repository, this is a SQL Server database located on my SQL Server locally, or it can be located in your network. And this database contains the full description of the data warehouse, which we will generate. You have full access to this database. You can read the data. You can even modify the data in this repository database. This database has pretty clean structure, and you can you have full access to this repository database containing the data warehouse definition. Okay, now we created the new empty repository or empty data warehouse project, and first what we will do, we will add the connector to the data source. We support different types of connectors like SQL Server, Oracle, text files, Excel Access, different OLAP or DBC data sources. SAP, for example, we can read the metadata from the SAP systems directly. We support different blob storages, OData interface, and so on. But now I will use Northwind database. This is a demo database from Microsoft. And we will use this Northwind database as the data source for our data warehouse. I have to add a connection string. Okay, let's call it Northwind. Save. Let's test connection. Okay. Okay, I added the connector to my data source. Now I can import the tables, define the sources step by step, define the historization and so on. Or I can call the data warehouse wizard, which will create a draft version of the data warehouse for us, and then we can modify this draft version of the data warehouse. Well, there are the objects in the Northwind database. Let's take some tables like categories, suppliers, shippers, products, orders, employer, customer, order details. I think it's enough. Okay. We will create the classic data warehouse architecture, Kimball model using facts and dimensions. We support Data Vault 2.0 modeling approach.
Sorry, Dimitri.
Yes.
Ilenia just asked if it's possible to increase the size of your screen.
Do you mean okay? Do you mean change the resolution or you know what?
I think you should make it much a bit bigger because it's hard to see.
Okay. Well, let me try to do it. I have to finish this step, and then I will try to change the screen resolution. One moment, please.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then let me. Okay. Is it still hard to see, or now it is better because I can increase the size of visual elements in AnalyticsCreator?
I think it's now good. I can see.
Okay, because okay, my screen resolution is pretty fine. I can decrease the screen resolution. Let me know if it's difficult to see what is here happen on my screen, and then I will decrease the screen resolution. Okay, well, we just created the data warehouse model containing the import layer, staging layer, or persistent staging layer, sorry, core layer, and data mart layer. You can see on the left side there are our data sources, tables in the Northwind database. If I click on this table, I can see the definition of the data source table. This is the table categories. Then we import the data into the staging layer. We have here the categories table where we import the data from the data source into. The import will be done using either integration service packages, SSS packages, or using Azure pipelines, in case you will use Azure Data Factory to perform your ETL processes. Here you can see the definition of the import. On the left side, you can see the mapping between the source and target columns. You can define here different filters, for example, to import the data. You can define here the variables which you can use in your filters. For example, and using variables and filters, you can perform the differential data loading, or our customers use this functionality very often. You can define here different scripts which will be executed before and after data import. Okay. Then we have here the persistent staging layer. In the persistent staging layer, we historicize the data which were imported. The table, for example, STG categories, this is a historicized table. We use typical slow changing dimension historization approach. If we take a look on this STG categories table, you will see this table has 3 additional columns. 2 of them, this is date from and date to columns, .font hist, .bishist, date from, this is the validity period of the specific data row, and 1 additional column called SATS ID. This is a surrogate key. In our case, this is a big integer identity column. It will be later the primary key, the technical primary key in every historized table. This is typical, this is standard slow changing dimension historization approach. And important is you can configure the historization procedure, historization process very widely. Here, this is the definition of historization storage procedure to historize the tables, to perform the historization. We generate storage procedures, and here you can configure your historization process. For example, for every column, you can decide the historization type. There are three historization types. CD2, this is a full historization. Every change in specific column will be stored in the historization table. CD1 means no history of the changes of specific field will be performed, but the values of the actual data row will be changed. And none means no history of specific column will be stored in historization table. In case only the specific column, for example, was changed. It's important. Sometimes you have the columns in your data sources which will be changed very often, and to avoid the growing of the historization table, you can switch the historization type of such columns to a CD1 or nothing. Then okay, you can manage your historization better. Okay, we can decide what we'll do with in case there's no data in the imported table. For example, some data were deleted in your data source, and what we will do with historization. Usually the historized data row should be closed. The validity period will be set to the actual date. We can say do not close. In this case, the deleted data still remain active in your historization table. We have an empty record approach. Okay, there is a lot of parameters which you can configure for your historization and adapt the historization for yourself. Okay, then the next layer, this is a core layer. In this core layer, we transform our data into the facts and dimensions usually. And you can see this blue squares, this blue squares. This is the transformations. Let me open one transformation. For example, this is team categories transformation. The usual transformation in AnalyticsCreator, this is a view. We support different kind of transformations. First, it can be a regular transformation. Then this is the view generated by AnalyticsCreator. In this case, the view will be generated based on this tabular definition. The view text generated by AnalyticsCreator you can see here. Here, for example, we can add the tables which will participate in specific transformations. There is a list of the column exposed by transformation, and so on, and the view will be generated by AnalyticsCreator. You can use your own view definition. In this case, it will be the manual transformation. We support SQL Server scripts. We support storage procedures as transformation. We support even externally created integration service packages, or even Excel or batch programs, which you can use as transformation to transform your data. But as I said, usual transformation in AnalyticsCreator, this is the view. Well, here it's pretty easy. You can select here the table participating in specific transformation, and here you can define which column from this table will be used in the transformation, or you can define here the statements, and AnalyticsCreator will generate for you this specific view. What is interesting here, for example, predefined transformations. Let me remove all predefined transformation. And let's see now what happens. If we take a look on our view, we can see every column will be exposed without any change as is by this view. But let me add one predefined transformation. For example, this one, string null to NA, and then we can see that every varchar or nvarchar column has this additional statement is null. To transform the null values into m.a.string, or for example, let me add one more transformation, predefined transformation trim. The trim transformation will remove leading and trailing spaces from every varchar and varchar column, so and so on. Such predefined transformations will be performed for every column based on the column type. You can create your own predefined transformation. Some predefined transformations are delivered together with AnalyticsCreator, and but as I said, you can define your own predefined transformation, or you can modify our predefined transformation. Such predefined transformation are very helpful because you can perform some transformations based on the column type. Okay, let me add other transformations. Okay, save. Well, then you can see we input the tables from the data source, we historize the tables, and then we create the dimensions from every imported table. And but what we are missing here, this is effect transformation. Okay, the Wizard can create for us effect transformation, but I would create the effect transformation by myself. I will use the order detail historized table as the main table for this fact transformation, and let's do it. Add transformation. Okay, it will be fact transformation. The name of this transformation will be fact order details. Why not? Okay, then we should decide which table we will use in this fact transformation. I will add all N1 related tables to this transformation. Okay. Okay, one of them maybe can delete. This is let's remain. Okay, and just click on finish, and the new fact transformation was created. Okay, let's see. You can see there are the 9 different tables which will be used in this transformation. The main table, this is the order details, and then AnalyticsCreator found every table related to order details, direct or indirect, and added these tables to the transformation. On the top, in the list of the columns, you can see the surrogate keys. This is SATS ID column from every participating table. For example, you can see here 2 employer tables. One employer table is bound to the order, and okay, let's rename it. It will be not employer but manager. That is a manager who is responsible for specific sales order, manager. And another column, this is employer 1. This is let me check. This is a column, table number 8. Table number 8 exactly is bound to table number 7. This is a supervisor. So I think correct. Okay, this is the typical fact transformation containing only the surrogate key from the according dimension tables or according tables. What we are missing here, that is a calendar dimension. Okay, saved, I hope. Really, AnalyticsCreator created for us the calendar dimension. This is team calendar. If I click on it, you can see this is just the view which provide us with the calendar data, and we will use calendar dimension in our fact transformation. Here in the table order, this is the table number 5. Let me check. There are some columns containing the date information, for example, order date. Okay, but instead, if I put in this case, for example, if I only expose this order date, I will have the order date column in my fact transformation containing the specific date. But I will have here not the date, but the ID from the calendar dimension. And to do that, I have to convert this date into ID from calendar dimension, and I can do it using the calendar macro. Let me show you how it works. You can see we call here in the statement field the macro called date to ID. We use here the macros. What is the macro? Macro is one interesting feature of AnalyticsCreator. Let me show it to you. This is date to ID. This is the macro. You can create your own macros, and this is the macro created together with calendar dimension. And macro, this is nothing more than a SQL statement. It can be not only a SQL statement, we support different languages, but in this case, this is a SQL statement, and some parts in this statement were replaced by placeholder. This double.1, this is a placeholder. Later, when we call this macro, this double.1 will be replaced by the first macro call parameter. When we call, for example, date to ID, then the parameter, the date column from the specific table, this double.1 will be replaced by the date field. And this macro just convert or calculate the number of days between 1980 and 1st January and the date from the first parameter. Then we take a look on our fact transformation.
Dimitri, we have
yes.
2 questions.
Yes, please.
One of the question is, could you create more measures in fact table at this stage? For instance, average price or year to date?
I will do
Just
it.
one more. This is one question. And the next one is from Roga. He's asking, is it also possible to use Power Query language for the transformation?
Yes, but not for the transformation, but in the data mart layer. I will later show you how.
JSON file too?
Sorry, JSON file has nothing.
He's asking if you can use a JSON file.
As that the data source, if we can read the data from the JSON files, I think yes, because we use only the functionality provided by SQL Server and by SQL Server BI stack. AnalyticsCreator is not the ETL tool. Of course, if Microsoft can do it, we can do it too. We can read, for example, the data from the XML files or JSON files into the tables. Then the table will contain the column, and this column will contain this JSON file. Then you can use the specific functionality of SQL Server, which can extract the data from this JSON text. Analytics SQL Server contains this, has this functionality. Therefore, we can work with JSON files. But as I said, AnalyticsCreator, this is not the ETL tool. AnalyticsCreator only generates the poor Microsoft code to perform your transformations. But it is possible. We have customers who use JSON files, who use XML files as containing. They import the data from JSON files, they import the data from XML files, and then they extract or transform this JSON or XML files into the tabular format. They extract the data from such files. But let me continue. Okay, I added here the date by calendar macro. Let me rename this column into FA because it is a foreign key to the calendar dimension. Let's take a look on the view created by AnalyticsCreator. You can see this macro call was replaced by macro text, and double.1 was replaced by the first parameter, but by the macro call parameter. In our case, this is order date. Okay, as I said, you can create your own macros. You can call macros and macros is very powerful possibility to create such small transformation bricks. And you can use them, such macros everywhere. And this is the central place where you can store and change such small transformations. If I later will, for example, change something in the calendar macro, I have to do it only here in the macro, and then every transformation, every calculated columns, for example, using this macro will be recalculated using the new macro text. Okay, we just added the calendar macro, order date, and let's add some measures. For example, the order detail table contains some columns like unit price, or for example, quantity. What is interesting for us? Okay, discount. Save. Okay, then let's create the column total. Total. This is T1. This is the alias for the first table. This is order detail T1 dot unit price multiplied by T1 dot quantity. And we have to subtract the discount. Discount in this case is percent value, for example, and we have to multiply it by I think 0.1 minus 1 dot discount. Save. Okay, then let me do some. Okay, I would rename this discount into discount %. Save, and then I will add one more column. This will be discount, and discount itself, it should be unit price multiplied by discount, by quantity multiplied by discount. Yes. Now we have 4 measure fields: quantity, total, discount, and discount %. Okay, but as I said, our transformation, this is just the view. What is important? Every table participating in this transformation, this is historized table. Historized table is pretty difficult to join the historized table because for every business key in this historized table, there can be several rows. This is the history of the changes of specific data row. Therefore, the business primary keys can have several data rows for every key in the historized table, and it's pretty difficult to join the historized table together. And to perform the joining, we use here the specific historization type. This is a snapshot historization, and let me show you how it works. If we take a look on this from part, you can see the first table in our transformations. This is a snapshot table. The snapshot table was created by AnalyticsCreator. This table contains at least one data row with the actual date. The snapshot table contains dates, and there is at least one row in this table with the actual date. And then we join the historized table, and every historized table joining here has this where conditions or this join condition, snapshot date between valid from and valid to. We get from every historized table only the data which were valid for the specific snapshot date, and we do it with every historized table. Here you can see. If we have only one data row with the actual date and the snapshot table, only actual data will be exposed. We will take from every historized table, but we can add more snapshots into the snapshot table. For example, end of the previous month, end of the previous months, and so on and so on. And in this case, we will expose additionally the old data from our historized table. We can provide you with the additional timeline where you will have access to the old versions of your data. Using this functionality, we can provide you with a timeline ever in case there is no timeline at all in your data model. You can have access really to the previous versions of your data. It's like the old versions. Okay, but in our case, we have only one snapshot. You can see the snapshot here, which snapshot will be used in this transformation. We can create additional snapshot. We can several customers who use this snapshot functionality very, very widely to, for example, you can create the snapshot for every month for the last 12 months, for example, and then you will have access to the history of your data for the last year. Okay, that you can see this red border. That means the transformation was created, but we don't know if the transformation is correct or not. And it's very important sometimes to click on the Synchronize DWH button. When I click on the Synchronize DWH button, the empty database containing the structure of my data warehouse will be created on my SQL server. If I take a look on my SQL server, refresh, I can see two databases related to my data warehouse project. First of them, this is repo demo DWH. This is our repository database, and there is one more database, DWH demo DWH. This database was just generated as I clicked on Synchronize DWH, and this database contains the structure of my data warehouse. And it's important to synchronize sometimes your model. First, we check if everything is correct and defined in your data warehouse. For example, let me do something wrong. I can add here the new column containing something wrong in the statement column. In the statement, the view will. You can see there's the view. The view is wrong. There is something wrong in our transformation. Then, when I click on Synchronize DWH, I will see there is something wrong, and invalid column name in the transformation fact order details. The transformation itself has this red border. Okay, there's something wrong. I can get the same error when I click here on Create in DWH button. but as I said, sometimes it's important to perform the synchronization time after time. Okay. Well, we just generated our fact transformation. What okay, let me synchronize again. Well, as I said, this is a view. This is a pretty complex view, and sometimes it is interesting to materialize the data in this view to speed up access to our data, and we can add the persisting. It's called persisting in AnalyticsCreator. We can store the data from this view into the table. Okay, persist table name. We should add here persisting table name and persisting package, but things or persisting pipeline. Let's call it pers1. Okay, let me synchronize our model. Okay, you can see the data from this view will be stored during the ETL processes in the table. This persisting or materializing will be done using storage procedure generated by AnalyticsCreator. You can see this is a storage procedure to persist your data. We support different kind of materialization or of persisting storage types. Full means the content of the persisting table will be deleted, and all data will be we copy all the data from the view into the persisting table. We can use a merge algorithm. In this case, the data will be compared. The data in the view will be compared with the data in the table, and only the changed data will be only the changes will be inserted, deleted, or updated. In case the source of your in case you will persist the historized table, there is one additional algorithm, because the historized table contains the information about the changed or modified, deleted, and new data, and persisting algorithm can be more efficiently can work more efficiently. Okay, there is a lot of 5 different types of historization of materialization algorithms. Even you can create your own historization algorithm in case you will select this manual type. In this case, you can modify this historization, this materialization storage procedure. It is possible too. Okay, and then let's take a look on our data mart layer. Data mart layer, this is the interface layer of our data warehouse, and later when we create the OLAP cubes or Power BI models, the structure of this data mart layer will be used to create the tabular or multidimensional or Power BI models. For example, if I take a look on my core layer, for example, this team categories, I can see in this table, I defined that my team categories dimension should participate in specific data star. We have one data star here in AnalyticsCreator defined, and the name of the dimension in this data star will be team categories. Okay, therefore I have here these team categories in the data mart layer. Okay, interesting here. This is our fact transformation. If I click here on this T-square, I will see. Important is every object here in the data mart layer. This is just the view. If I take a look on the definition, I can see this is just the view in the schema star, because we created and the DWHs created for us one data star, and technically, this is just the view in the schema star, and the fact transformation is the same. It's just the view created by AnalyticsCreator in the schema star, and every column from the according core transformation will be exposed here in this view. Important here, if we click on this T-square, we can define some additional attributes and properties and measures for our tabular or multidimensional or Power BI models. First, we can define here the OLAP preferences. For example, you can see that the column FK customer is related to the team customer, and there's something interesting. We have, for example, the FK manager. This is a manager dimension. This is bound to the team employees, but we have additionally one more column related to employer table, which is not bound to any dimension, because it is not possible to connect two column in the fact transformation to the same dimension. Therefore, we have to create here additional dimension, and we will do it here, create new dimension based on team employer. We will call it team supervisor. Okay. Now we have two. Okay, let me save. Let me show you how it looks like. Now we have two dimensions based on team employer. One of them is team employer, another dimension is team supervisor. Let's rename this team employer into the team manager. One moment. Team manager. Okay, save. Synchronize. Okay, now we have two dimensions based on team employee. This is team manager and team supervisor. Okay, one more thing I will change. The friendly names will rename employees into the manager. Okay, and okay, and okay, suppliers. Okay. Well, then let's define some measures for our Power BI model, which we later will generate. Okay, we will take quantity, total discount, sum. Okay, you can see the measure name. Sure, you can define your own measure names, but for example, Power BI and tabular models, it's important that every measure name should be unique, and therefore we provide you with the AnalyticsCreator functionality. You can use here the templates to generate the measure names. In the column parsed measure name, you can see the name of the measures generated by AnalyticsCreator, for example, sum of discount, and then it breaks the name of the specific table. But as I said, sure, you can create your own measure names. You should use your own measure names. Okay, and here, sure, you can use the aggregates, the standard aggregates like sum or I don't know, average or max, min, and so on. Or you can use your own tabular DAX statements in case you generate Power BI or tabular OLAP model, or you can use multidimensional statements if you generate a multidimensional OLAP cube. It is possible, of course. And we can, for example, create one additional measure. We can call it facts count, and we can use, for example, the tabular statement. I think Stop. No, I forgot. This function row number, I think. Yeah, number of row count. Yeah. Count. And then the table name, it will be web order details, if I'm not wrong. Count, I think. Then we just created one additional measure which provides us with a number of rows and the specific fact transformation. Okay, let me add some more measures like distinct count of customer, distinct count of, for example, products. Okay. Well, I think it should be enough for us. For the first time, we just added some measures. If I will, I can generate the tabular, the calculated columns, possible too, of course. But I think it's enough for the demo. Well, and now I will deploy. This is just the model, and now I will deploy my model to the Azure, and to do that, I will generate deployment package. The deployment package, this is a Visual Studio solution or SQL Server Data Tool solution containing everything what I need to generate to create the data warehouse. After this Visual Studio solution is generated, you can publish it everywhere. You can publish it on premise. You can publish it into the Azure. You can partially publish it. For example, you can store your data locally on your local SQL server, but use the Power BI in cloud. It's possible too. Such mixed environments are possible. Okay, let's. Okay, deploy Azure. This is the name of our deployment package. It will be stored in the directory at temp. Why not? Okay, what belong to this deployment package? First, this is a deckpack file. We generate the deckpack file. This deckpack file, you can deploy it everywhere. Okay, deckpack compatibility level, let's use 2019. And we can directly deploy from AnalyticsCreator, deploy deckpack. In this case, we should say where we will deploy. And we will deploy to Azure. Let me take the name of our Azure server. Okay, this is our Azure server. On just connected to our Azure SQL server. On the Azure SQL server, I have the database called AV, and I will deploy it there into this database. This database now is empty. Let's take a look on it. You can see no tables, no views. This database is empty, and we will deploy into this database. Okay, AnalyticsCreator. Database Windows.net, database name AV, we will use standard security. Okay, hello data loss, why not Provo.NET and SARS. Then we will generate a tabular OLAP model, and we will deploy it into the Power BI. Click here, we generate the XML script. This is a JSON script containing the definition of our Power BI model, and we will deploy it directly to Power BI. We use Power BI Premium, and Power BI Premium provides us with the XML endpoint. I click. Very good. XML endpoint. Okay, you can see this is our Power BI XML endpoint. There is no databases at the moment in this endpoint, and we will generate the new database. Let's call it Northwind. Sorry. I think why not? I think it's equal. Which name I will use? Okay, and I have add here my Power BI credentials. Okay, let me check. Okay, I will add here my Power BI credentials. Okay, one moment, but very important, you should select the compatibility level Power BI. Okay, create partitions, model name, create cube during deployment, very important. Okay, and then on the right side, to perform our ETL process, we can either generate integration service packages, or we can generate, in our case, Azure Data Factory pipelines. And it's what we will do. We will generate Azure Data Factory ARM template containing the pipelines to import the data, to historize the data, and so on. Okay, I think I forgot nothing. Okay, save, and let's generate the deployment package. Okay, you can see here on the right side in the deployment log, our deckpack file was generated. Now the deckpack file will be deployed into our Azure SQL Server. It's not necessary. It is not necessary to deploy from AnalyticsCreator. Usually, we recommend to deploy only into the development environments. To deploy into the productive environment, you can use into the productive database. You can use the utility, the Microsoft utility SQL package.exe, or you can deploy it directly from SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, our database was deployed. Now we deploy our OLAP cube, our Power BI model, and let's wait a little bit. Yes, and ARM template was generated too. Okay, let's take a look first on our SQL Server. Okay, on our SQL Server, this is our AV database. One moment. Now you can see this database was empty, and now the structure of, you can see there are the tables, the views from our model. We deployed our model to the Azure SQL Server. Okay, then Power BI. You can see, one moment, disconnect, analyze services, Power BI. Refresh. Let me check on our Power BI web page. This is our Power BI web page, and you can see there is this Northwind data set generated by AnalyticsCreator. This data set contains the model of our Power BI OLAP cube. We can later open it in the Power BI desktop, and we will see, or here it is possible to open too. Okay, but now I will deploy our Data Factory ARM template. Okay, let me open our Data Factory. Okay, this is our Data Factory, and you can see our Data Factory now is empty, no pipelines, no data sets. The only what we have in our Data Factory, there are two integration service runtimes. One of them, this is auto-resolve integration runtime, will be used to access our Azure database, which we just generated. And another one, this is integration runtime demo. Using this integration runtime, I can read the data from our Northwind database, which I have put here on this demo, demo computer, demo server. And This is only what we have now in our data factory. And now I will import the ARM template generated by AnalyticsCreator. Okay, load file. You can see this is a temp directory where AnalyticsCreator created the deployment deployment package. There is a new subdirectory created by AnalyticsCreator, and there is JSON. This one. This is a JSON file. Contains the definition of our ARM. This is our ARM template. Okay, save. Okay, AnalyticsCreator. Factory name is Agmon. AC Factory. This is the name of our Azure data factory. And preview and create. And let's wait a little bit. Deployment is in progress, and I hope our data factory. Okay, deployment is complete. Now let me open our Azure data factory again. Okay, and you can see we have here now 4 different pipelines. Okay, maybe let me do it. We have historization, import, persisting workflow pipelines. We have different data sets. We have source data sets from the Nordwind database. We have different data sets for our objects in the data warehouse. We have one workflow. This is a one pipeline called workflow package. Okay, this is a workflow pipeline. Only this pipeline later should be executed to fulfill our ETL process. And here in this workflow pipeline, first we call the import pipeline, historization pipeline, and then persisting pipeline. Would we create integration service packages? The integration service packages would have the same structure like the pipelines. This is our import pipeline, and you can see. Oops. You can see here are just 6 or 7. We feel how many tables to be import, pipelines to import the data from the Nordwind database into Azure Data Factory, and so on. The only what we have to do now, we have here, one moment. We have here two server, and this server should be connected to the specific integration service runtime. Okay, Nordwind should be connected to the integration runtime demo. Okay, server name demo as node is Windows authentication and demo. I think test connection. Connection successful. We just bound our Nordwind linked service with the integration runtime to get the data, to read the data from our Nordwind database, and DWH will be connected exactly to the auto-resolve integration runtime with the data. From Azure subscription, Microsoft Partner Network, server name AnalyticsCreator, database AV. This is our data warehouse. Authentication type is SQL authentication, and this one. First connection successful. Okay, and now let's execute our workflow pipeline.
Sorry, Dimitri.
Yes.
Before you start,
Please.
we have a question. Elena wrote, I don't fully understand. Once you created the data warehouse in AnalyticsCreator, you deploy it and you get automatically Azure Data Factory pipelines. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes. Okay. What we did, we created Azure Data Factory ARM template and we deployed it manually. This ARM template. We didn't to deploy Azure Data Factory ARM template. I have to do it manually. I cannot deploy it directly from AnalyticsCreator.
And I will read the rest of the question. That means AnalyticsCreator use internally by default the data factory engine to perform the ETL.
No, it depends on what you will, how you will perform your ETL processes. Usually, I think I would say 80% of our customers use integration service packages. We can generate integration service packages. I can do it after I can do it instead to generate data factory pipelines. But if you have the poor Azure environment, you can of course use the pipelines. It's your own decision what you will use as ETL engine. Integration service, data factory, or SSS packages. But as I said, usually we generate SSS packages, and SSS packages can be used on premise, or you can use integration service packages in the data factory too. It is possible. 2 ways. Integration service packages or data factory pipelines. Okay, you can see our workflow pipeline or workflow package is done. The data were loaded into the database. Let's check it. For example, let's select from in categories. Okay, we can see the data were loaded into the database. And now let's go to the Power BI. Okay, this is our Power BI. This is our Nordwind dataset generated by AnalyticsCreator. And let me go. The only what I have to do, I have to define here the credentials. I think it's here, and edit credentials. Credentials are already stored, but they should be confirmed. I should sign in one time, and then it will work. Okay, and now I will refresh my data set. Okay, and I think is already refreshed, I hope. And what we can do now, for example, we can generate quick insights, or I would maybe open this data set in my Power BI desktop. 1 moment, please. The quick insights will be generated right now, and simultaneously I would regarding integration service packages, here I said we will generate Azure Data Factory pipelines, but I can generate integration service packages too, and then the packages will be generated, and you can use packages to import data, to historize the data, and so on. Especially if you work on premise, you should generate integration service packages. If you work only in cloud, you can use both of them. Okay, and Power BI desktop. Okay, the quick insights will be generated, and simultaneously we will open Power BI Desktop and take a look on this data set generated by AnalyticsCreator. Okay, get data, one moment. Power BI dataset. Okay, Nordwind. And okay, here you can see the structure of our Power BI dataset. As I said, it is the same structure like we have here in our data mart layer. You can see it here in the middle. This is the fact transformation, then our dimensions. You can see here, okay, you can see it here. We have here some measures generated by which we defined, and well, if we want, we can try to create the report. I don't know what we have here. For example, okay, sum of total, and maybe, I don't know, here. Okay. You can see, okay, the data are in the model. You can now generate your Power BI reports. Okay, let's take a look on the quick insights generated by Power BI. Well, I think I'm not sure if it is helpful, but we just generated the full Microsoft BI solution from scratch. We created the Azure database. We created the Power BI dataset, Power BI model. We generated the Azure Data Factory pipeline to load the data, and now you can create your own reports based on the data stored on this dataset. Okay, I think I'm done with my presentation. It's almost 11 a.m. If you have questions, please, you can ask me.
Okay, we have a new question. It's I have a small query. Is it different from Azure Synapse Analytics platform, data integration and ETL, and Azure Analytics Services, data modeling?
First, the models which we generate, they work at the moment with SQL Server, with Azure SQL Server, not on Azure Synapse. The Azure Synapse generator, we work on it, but at the moment we can generate only Azure SQL Server models, because Azure Synapse, it's completely different SQL Server engine with the other different SQL syntax, and some features will be not supported. But we work, and I hope we will. The Synapse generator is ready very soon.
The model is always the same, so
the model is always the same. Yes,
always the same, but the code is different.
Except, yes. For example, let me show you the sample. Here, if you generate the measures, for example, you can define the different statements for multi-dimensional OLAP cubes and for tabular OLAP cubes. It's possible. Okay, regarding the as I said, now we generate only the SQL Server models, not the Synapse models. In the next version with the Synapse, it will be able to generate the different statements for Synapse and for SQL Server. or when we are ready with the HANA version, it will be possible to generate different statements for HANA and for SQL Server and for Synapse, like here. Like this possibility to generate different, to use different statements for tabular OLAP cubes and for multi-dimensional OLAP cubes. But as I said, now we generate only SQL Server models, not the Synapse models.
Are there some other questions? Oh, there's another one. The SQL Server native client SQLN CL1 has been removed from SQL Server 2022. Which native client do you recommend? Is SQL Server 22 compatible at all?
Yes, we are compatible. Okay, we use, we still continue to use the OLAP driver. Okay, it is necessary, if I'm not wrong, to use one additional property to allow unsecurity or what is the name? Unsecured connections. At the moment, we use this OLAP driver. Let me show you one moment, please. Okay, we still continue to use SQLNC 11, but okay, I think at the moment we use it and it works. There is one additional property, one additional parameter, I think, in the connection string, which will allow you to use this driver together with SQL Server 2022. This is, I forgot the name of this parameter. Something like related to the security connection, but I'm not sure now about the name of this parameter. But I think it works, and we tried to use this driver together with SQL Server 2022, and it seems to work. And you saw we used the same driver with Azure, and the Azure version. I think this is the latest Azure version, which we work exactly this is SQL Server 12. At the moment, this is. Okay, sorry, I'm not sure regarding the SQL Server 2022. We already tested it. It worked with our OLAP driver, but I'm not sure. I have to check.
Yeah, but it should be no problem. So if there is some incompatibility.
No. I think there is one. There is really one. That is not the bug. That there's some troubles to use this driver because to provide the security connection, you need this SSL security, but it is possible to turn off this SSL security in the connection string, and I think it works. It should work.
Maybe another question. We wait a little bit. Maybe anybody has find something what to ask. Yeah, another one is coming. He's just typing, I think. But you can also speak, yeah. So if you want, you can also unmute you. There is a question about real time. How will it perform? So we have customers do this, but Dimitri can explain. Yeah.
Well, I would say it's perform en masse. We have some customers who and we have additional functionality in AnalyticsCreator to allow the near real-time data loading. We have some customers who import the data every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. It's not really real time, but it's near real time.
Yeah.
We support the partitions. We support, you can process, for example, only specific tables in your OLAP cubes. You can import only the new data, for example. You can important is, for example, our historization algorithms are very performant, very quick. If you take a look on the storage procedures generated by AnalyticsCreator to perform the data historization, you will see that our algorithms are very efficient. It is not necessary, but by the way, it is not necessary to use the data historization. You can avoid using on persistent staging layer and work with only actual data. It's possible too, of course. This architecture is just a sample provided by the data warehouse wizard. You can create your own architectures. Because AnalyticsCreator, this is a poor developer tool. You can create. Let me show you. Maybe it's interesting how the real project looks like. Let me open the repository. I don't know which one, for example. Okay, let me take a look on this one.
So, Dimitri, the reason why I asked is. So, like, we deal with on a point of sales machines where we implement ERP and point of sales, and especially catering to the restaurant chains, right? So when we talk about the restaurant chains, so it can have like 30 stores, 40 stores in a region. And when we have a restaurant chain, which means the ingredients are like amazingly high in terms of at a BOM level, if I want to say, right? And the items are really high. So if we go at a transactional level and do the analysis, so I want to understand that whether it can like facilitate in terms of, first of all, injecting such a large amount of data, which is happening at a real time at point of sales machine, plus the e-commerce. Second thing is doing all these number crunching and all this stuff, and then sharing the output in a form of Power BI data visualization to the number of users. So it can start from a store managers where basic reports are done till at a CXO level, right? So both the data injection is high and the end users are high, right? So I want to understand that. I know it's not possible at a real time, but like let's say a refreshing rate of like 5 minutes or 10 minutes where they can see their results. As soon as something is happening at a point of sales, then the output can be seen by a store manager or at a CXO level.
Well, you should. I'm trying to. AnalyticsCreator is not the data warehouse engine. AnalyticsCreator is not the ETL engine. AnalyticsCreator only provide you with, only generate the Microsoft data warehouse. In case Microsoft allows you to, okay, it's performant enough. If you have the good SQL server, if you have the performant Power BI, if you import interface is performant enough, it is possible, of course. AnalyticsCreator only generates the source code for your data warehouse, and we have a lot of we have many customers which use the near real-time data processing, and for example, one of our biggest customers, they use AnalyticsCreator to create the IT controlling data warehouse to check the computer, the IT rights of the users. And for example, they import the data every 5 minutes from the different data sources, and only 5 minutes is the time which is necessary to refresh the data in your Power BI cubes. And Power BI cube, more than 1,000 users simultaneously work with the reports using the Power BI cubes, and there is what is possible. For example, if you will restrict the access to the Power BI reports, of course you can use. We have different there are the roles, for example. This is a sample. You can define the different roles, for example, to restrict access to restrict access to the specific data in your Power BI. There is a row level security, there is a column level security. It is not the SQL. It is not the AnalyticsCreator feature. This is the feature of the Power BI, but
Yes.
it is important. Every feature in the Power BI, every feature in the SQL Server, you can use in AnalyticsCreator, and it is important. And as I said, if it is possible using Microsoft BI technology, it is possible with AnalyticsCreator.
Perfect. Thanks, Dimitri.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, yes, but
and
and now, for example, you can see this is a typical data warehouse project created by AnalyticsCreator. There is a lot of different SIP data sources on the left side, the typical SIP. And for example, I can take this fact transformation and the data mart layer, then I can set the filter, and now I can see better what happens with my data related only to this specific fact transformation. Or I can take, okay, I don't know, this one, or I don't know what is it, set filter. Okay, another fact transformation. This is a data star. Or let me take a look. This is the SIP table, ZBLAN, set filter, and then I can see what happens with the data from this SIP table, where it will be used and where it will be participated. And it is AnalyticsCreator is not only the data warehouse generator. This is the data lineage tool, and you can see much more. I mean, without such tool, it is very difficult to work with the very big data warehouse projects, and AnalyticsCreator can visualize for you your data warehouse project, and therefore it is much easier to develop the data warehouses using AnalyticsCreator.
Thanks a lot, David, for answering the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Maybe Ivan has a question. I see him now on the screen, on the video. Ivan?
No, thank
No,
you.
you don't
I'm
have-
just
okay.
getting first sense of Power BI.
Okay. Okay, is there one more question maybe? And after that we close it. Okay.
By the way, I
Yeah.
also sent
Okay.
a link of our calendar in chat. So if you want to talk about your company, about your requirements, you can also book a call from our calendar, so we can talk in more detail.
Yeah, I want to recommend to try the trial version of AnalyticsCreator. So you just have to go on the main page, AnalyticsCreator.com, and there is an orange button on the right, and you fill out the form. You write your data there, and also you have to document some things about your project, what you want to achieve, and what source data you have. That's all. And after that, within 24 hours, you will get a free trial version. It's a link, a download link, and you have access to training videos, to our wiki description. Everything is described very detailed for the first try. There are several steps how you can get started, and also we support you. Yeah, so if you have question on your trail, Dimitri or my colleagues will help you with that. You will answer your questions. Okay, everything what you do on your own at the first time, you get maybe some questions. So this is no problem. We spend time with you on that. Yeah, just try it. It's for free. And also, if you want to have just our advice about your project, just call us, book a call with one of us, with Aaron, with Richard, Dimitri, or me. Tell us your story, what you want to achieve, what you have already in place. We give you our advice, how do you come forward much more faster. Yeah, this is what we can do for you. Also, I want to recommend our next events. You find these events on our event provider. It's Eventbrite. You can access it directly from our webpage, or you find it in LinkedIn. We have very interesting events in the next time. I think it's in April. The other event with a partner together. He is specialist about test automation. So not only data warehouse automation, it's all about test automation, how this tool works together. Maybe this is something interesting for you.